Tonight from Oklahoma City, it's the third annual Bricktown Showdown, the AAA championship between the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees and the Sacramento RiverCats. Timely hitting and dogged determination have been the keys to lead Scranton Wilkes-Barre to the International League Championship. These Yankees have withstood 201 player transactions, and they have overachieved. Solid defense and fundamentals have made the Sacramento RiverCats a great ball club. And let's not forget the timely hitting of Carlos Gonzalez, who is one of the best prospects in minor league baseball. Welcome to the Express Employment Professionals Bricktown Showdown at the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark on a beautiful night in Oklahoma City. It's the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees against the Sacramento RiverCats. Hi everybody, I'm Howard Kellman with a man who played in the major leagues for 9 years, made one of the greatest catches in World Series history, and these days is a color commentator for the New Orleans Zephyrs, Ron Swoboda. Ron, great to have you aboard. Tell us your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I think it'd be very easy for folks at home to think that the players will take this lightly and tra-la-la through the evening. But I think they've got champagne still bubbling in their noses. They've won their respective championships. But this one tonight means something because it's a nationwide broadcast. And in today's baseball game, you play for all the other teams in professional baseball, and they will all be watching tonight. That, as much as anything, will get them into this one.
Okay, Ron, let's get to the Yankees' road to the championship.
Well, the Yankees did a great job in the International League, 88 wins, and that is tied for the top of the International League. And they went through first Pawtucket 3-1, and then a very tough Durham. And they beat them 3-1 to get here tonight. And Ian Kennedy, who is their young left-handed pitcher, 23 years old, was up in the big leagues, got roughed up, 0-4, sent back to the minor leagues. But he talks about what this game means tonight in light of everything that's gone on for him this year.
This year I wouldn't trade it for the world. I learned a lot, learned how to deal with adversity, with losing and doing well, just trying to learn with that. And I mean, it's been a crazy year, and I mean, this is a good way to end it.
Sacramento's road to the championship. Sacramento beat a Salt Lake team that started the season 21-1, 3-1, and Sacramento captured its second straight PCL crown, defeating Oklahoma City 3-1. Let's talk about Sacramento's starting pitcher, Brad Knox.
Yeah, they drafted him originally, and as we know, the A's draft smart, and they coach him up. And then when they get to big leagues, they trade him. But they have a good guy, a nuanced kind of a pitcher in Brad tonight. And he's a guy with a sinker slider kind of thing. Really doesn't throw much harder than 88, pitches in the mid-80s. But he has this changeup that he can make move away from both righties and lefties, which is a very useful tool for him.
It's the AAA championship. It's the experience of minor league baseball and the great history and tradition of these two leagues.
ESPN's presentation of the Bricktown Showdown, brought to you by Baseball America, the home of baseball insiders. Visit baseballamerica.com. Choice Sports Cards, the most popular trading cards in minor league baseball. Ask for them by name. Phillips 66, hard-working gas. And Express Employment Professionals, respecting people, impacting business.
Welcome back to the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. Let's go to the third member of our crew, Jim Byers.
Thanks, Howard. This is the third year of the Bricktown Showdown here in Oklahoma City at AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. And how appropriate that with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees inside ready to play, they're the New York Yankees AAA affiliate, that right outside the ballpark, outside the main gate, is one of the great Oklahomans of all time and one of the great Yankee legends, Mickey Mantle. Howard?
Okay, thank you, Jim. Let's get to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees lineup and batting order. Justin Christian leading off in left field. Chris Baysack at second base. Juan Miranda at first base. Shelley Duncan batting fourth in right field. Bren Broussard, the DH, hits fifth. Matt Carson in center field batting sixth. Third baseman Eric Duncan bats seventh. The catcher Chris Stewart hits eighth. Ramiro Pena, the shortstop, batting ninth. And Brad Knox on the hill.
Yeah, Brad Knox is a 6'3", 241-pound soft thrower, okay? Doesn't get it up there much more than the high 80s. We talked about his pitches before.
And his first pitch of the game to Justin Christian is in there. Strike one. We're underway from the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. Christian lines it. It is caught on a leaping grab by Brooks Conrad, the second baseman. Christian hit .306 during the regular season.
He's probably the best threat on the bases to steal is Christian, so that's a good idea to catch that one right there. That's Knox in his record 7-4. He pitched both out of the bullpen and has started, and tonight he'll probably only be out there for 3 innings tops.
Veteran Chris Baysack takes a ball inside, hitting .257 during the regular season, both with Rochester and Scranton Wilkes-Barre combined. 6 homers, 28 RBI, 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, kind of an interesting guy, 29 years old. The Mets drafted him originally back in the year 2000 out of Illinois. He got 1 at-bat as a New York Yankee last year.
And that's Carlos Gonzalez. And they're at 2 away.
We'll talk about Carlos because he is one of the most interesting young talents.
Here's the defense for Sacramento. Casey Rogowski playing first, Brooks Conrad at second. The shortstop Gregorio Petit, Donnie Murphy at third base. Danny Putnam in left, Carlos Gonzalez in center, Chris Denorfia in right, Chris Stewart catching, Brad Knox pitching. And now Juan Miranda, who is a prospect, and he takes the ball. He hit .287, 12 homers, 52 RBI.
Yeah, and he's a guy that you mentioned some power. He can hit it a long way.
No score in the top of the first. 1 ball, 1 strike. The lights are on at this beautiful downtown facility, the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark.
Miranda, the number 21 ranked prospect in this Yankees organization, and this looks like trouble.
Deep to right field in the corner, off the wall. Denorfia plays the carom, but it's going to be a double for Miranda, who ripped it.
He's an expatriate Cubano, is Miranda, defected to Dominican Republic in '04. And he starts this one off with a bang.
Number 17, Shelley Duncan.
He's hit a few bombs this year too. He's a first baseman who is, not destined for Golden Gloves.
Well, he had 22 doubles during the regular season, and he has one there. And now it's Shelley Duncan. Hit .239 during the regular season, 12 homers and 44 RBI, and started the year with a big club. Then back with Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He separated his right shoulder diving for a ball. He fouls it back out of play.
Of course, the Duncan family, we know the pitching coach with the Oakland A's, his brother Chris, had a bulging disc operated on. He's on the DL now with the Cardinals. His younger brother, Shelley's been up both last year and this year to the New York Yankees. He started the season with the Yanks.
Takes the ball inside. His father, Dave, the pitching coach, as you said, with the St. Louis Cardinals. Dave and Tony La Russa go all the way back to 1983 when Dave was Tony's pitching coach with the White Sox. And Dave Duncan, unlike most pitching coaches, is a former catcher.
Those guys probably don't even, they communicate with one another by, just eye contact, and they know what the next guy's going to say. They're like husband and wife. They finish one another's sentences. That's why they've stayed together so long.
No score in the top half of the first. 2 men out. And that's low, and that's a ball. AAA rosters are at 24 throughout the season. And in the minor leagues, the disabled list is 7 days, unlike the major leagues.
Scranton Wilkes-Barre hit 132 home runs this year, and they had quite a few guys on the roster in the double figures as Shelley gets more or less pitched around, maybe.
And he draws a walk. And there are 2 men on with 2 men out. As you look at Shelley Duncan.
It doesn't get a whole lot easier with the next guy up, though.
There's the third base coach, Alvaro Espinoza, who played in the big leagues for 12 years.
He did. The infield coach. They, unlike any team that I've ever heard of in AAA, have 4 coaches, a manager and 3 coaches rather than a hitting coach, a pitching coach, and the manager. They've got an infield coach who has been with them the whole year.
Ben Broussard, the veteran, the batter, hit .276 during the regular season, 13 homers, 76 RBI. To the right of Petit, and he knocks it down and saves a run by doing so, Ron.
Yeah, to score that a knock as Broussard went the other way. Ton of big league experience. He's got 2,000 big league at-bats.
We'll look at this one again.
Watch him there. He keeps it from going in the outfield, though, and that just saves a run there. Petit using all his range.
The bases are loaded with 2 men out. And the batter will be Matt Carson, the center fielder, who hit .289 during the season with 10 homers and 38 RBI. Knox got the first 2 men. He comes right at Carson and gets a strike.
Carson, an interesting young piece of talent in that organization, too. Came up from AA Trenton in early May, where he hit .277, and certainly held his own at the AAA level. Got some speed himself.
They play him straight up.
Well, they're lucky in a way. He's a left fielder who can play center field and right field, so they've got a guy out there who can play all 3 positions. They've got some flexibility, which when your roster's at 24, you really need.
This will be a 1-ball, 1-strike pitch with the bases loaded, and he misses with that slider down and away, and Chris Stewart's going to go out and talk to him. Scranton Wilkes-Barre is managed by Dave Miley, the former Cincinnati Reds skipper. He managed the International League All-Stars this year, and last year was the IL Manager of the Year with Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Also guided Louisville to a championship in the International League in 2001.
Although this year's team, this year's Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees, the first in 20 years.
That is deep to center field. Gonzalez may have room. And on the warning track, he hauls it in. The side is retired. So we have played a half inning. Scranton Wilkes-Barre nothing. Sacramento coming to bat. Welcome back to the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. And we are scoreless in the bottom half of the first. We'll look at Sacramento's lineup and batting order. The lights are on here on a gorgeous night in Oklahoma City. Temperature in the mid-70s. As we get ready for the bottom half of inning number 1, that's Chris Denorfia who'll be leading it off.
This guy did not play at all last year, and they traded for him anyway, based on his minor league numbers, which were pretty hefty. He had Tommy John surgery, which is fairly uncommon for an outfielder.
He is a terrific player, Ron. He beats you with his defense as well as his offense. Denorfia hit .302 during the regular season, 2 homers, 20 RBI. That's Ian Kennedy.
Well, he's in the front end there. Kennedy, a 4-pitch pitcher. He's got a fastball, probably not much more than 90-91 on the gun. Curveball and a slider, but he's got a changeup, and you know, as he starts off getting ahead of him, you know how you love all your children, but if you really had to admit it, you love one of them more than the other. He loves that changeup of his, and it's a good one. Got a lot of movement.
And that's a ball, 1 strike, although you do have to pitch off the fastball. The other pitchers are secondary pitches. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, Kennedy struggled in the big leagues this year. He's a guy who's always thrown strikes. And that is over the head of Eric Duncan into the left field corner. Christian will try to track it down, and Chris Denorfia beats the ball into the dirt and has a double.
It's a pretty good pitch, too, there. That was a ball with some sink on it, down and in. Denorfia just got the fat part on it and got a big high hop over his head as you check out the lineup.
Chris Denorfia leading off in right, Danny Putnam in left, Carlos Gonzalez, the center fielder, hitting third, the DH, Wes Bankston, Brooks Conrad at second base, Casey Rogowski in right field, Donnie Murphy at third, Gregorio Petit, the shortstop, and Justin Knagler is the catcher batting ninth. There's Denorfia. Now, he's also a man who runs well. As you look at Danny Putnam, hit .276 during the regular season, 15 homers and 57 RBI, and he is a Stanford man. Strike one swinging.
So we know he's smart, and we also know this: he may not be a big, tall, statuesque guy, but he's got some pop. He beat us with a home run this year in Zephyr Field in New Orleans in a 10th inning bomb. Beat us by a run. They beat us 3 out of 4 at home this year.
This will be a one-strike pitch. No score in the bottom of the first, and that is a terrific pitch, knee-high and over the inside corner.
Get a little run on that fastball and just let it drift back over the plate.
Now, when Kennedy was in the major leagues with the Yankees this year, he was falling behind hitters, and your confidence can get shaken in this game, and you go from confidence in pitching with conviction to uncertainty in pitching with hope, and he wants to get that confidence back.
I think there's so much feel in the game, and I believe when under the pressures, can you imagine anything more than a young kid pitching in Yankee Stadium? Here's the defense.
The Express Employment Professionals Bricktown Showdown, and here is the defense for the Yankees. Juan Miranda playing first, Chris Basak at second, Ramiro Pena the shortstop, third baseman is Eric Duncan, Justin Christian in left, Matt Carson in center, and Shelley Duncan in right.
They got pretty good arms around the outfield.
Chris Stewart catching, Ian Kennedy pitching.
And Stewart has a good gun behind home plate. 2 catchers tonight that can throw a little bit.
And that's a ball.
But you see how he's spotting that fastball around with some movement on it, and that's a feel pitch. And you miss with that. Now things start to change. What do you do when you get in the fix here? What's he going to throw if he's in trouble and behind in the count?
Carlos Gonzalez hitting .283, 4 homers, 28 RBI.
The book on him is you bust him in, and you can do that. But he's starting to get a little bit of smarts about the pitch inside. He's going to learn to adjust to handle it physically better, technique-wise better, but he also knows when to lay off it early in the count.
He was ranked Arizona's #1 prospect, came over in that multiplayer deal, the Danny Herron trade. This will be a 2-0 pitch, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. I would think in this situation, runner at second, 1 out, he'd have a green light.
It's funny. It depends on the organization. The New York Mets organization does not allow any of their players at any level to swing on 3-0. I would think early in this ballgame he'll take a strike.
Well, he did, and the pitch is low, though. Ball 4. It's a hitter's count.
Looked like he was taken all the way.
Now we'll get to your scouting report on Ian Kennedy.
Kennedy, as we mentioned, he's got 4 pitches. He likes to use everything, but it's that changeup, I think, that he likes to use when he gets in trouble. If he gets a big bopper up there, but he's got to get ahead, I think, to use it.
Here's the DH, Wes Bankston, hitting .280 during the season. A terrific year, 20 homers, 73 RBI, and he takes outside, ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes.
Hey, I'll tell you what, national broadcast, both teams have been through long, tough regular seasons, worked their way through the playoffs, won their respective leagues, and now you're on national television. You did all the rest of that, in the confines of AAA ballparks. Now all of a sudden, a lot more people are watching you. As we mentioned in the top of the broadcast, a lot of them might have something to say about your future as he misses with a slider away.
Well, you mentioned that in the national broadcast, and sometimes in big games early, hitters their first time up may jump at the ball a bit.
I'll tell you what, I think we've got 2 pretty good hitting teams here. And at this point in the season, everybody's a little bit more experienced. If you were a rookie starting the season, you're not a rookie now. If this is your first time or second time with limited experience at AAA, and you've been through this whole AAA season, you're not a newbie anymore.
Right, 2-1 on Wes Bankston. And that just did miss, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
Bankston came out of the Rays organization. He was a Devil Ray, actually, before they dropped the Devil. They sweetened up their image a little bit. They became the Rays.
And improved their ball club.
Well, it's funny. He was picked up from the Rays by the Royals on waivers, and just that quick he was picked up by the A's. That's true.
That's a base hit left field.
He can throw.
Christian throwing home. And it's not in time. He beat the ball. An RBI single for Bankston. Scoring Denorfia, and it's 1-0 Sacramento. Gonzalez stops at second.
He hit the cutoff man. He got rid of it quickly, but you know what? When you've got speed on the bases, watch this ball is rolled to the left side, so it's not going to get to the left fielder as quickly. That's a pretty good pick up and throw. He bounces it a little bit far out there, but I doubt he had any chance to get Denorfia, who can run a little bit.
So he comes through. Bankston had 73 RBI during the season. He's got one there in the game's first run. And now Brooks Conrad, who hit 243, the one switch hitter on their ball club. Great year. Ball one. Had 28 homers and 91 RBI. Two men on, one man out, and one run in. We're in the bottom half of inning one.
We've seen a whole lot of Brooks Conrad because he was in the Houston Astros organization for a long, long time. And I always liked him. The thing is, he's so unusual for a second baseman. He's got big power and he strikes out a lot.
That's a good pitch over the outside corner.
He's going to K a bunch, but you know something? You better keep pitching him tough, because when you make a mistake in his sweet zone, you're going to hear a loud noise, and it's going to go a long way.
He is a natural right-hand batter. Began switch hitting when he was very young.
That's that changeup, and it's a good one.
1 ball, 2 strikes. One great thing about a changeup, it is something you can practice every day, and there's no strain on your arm.
Well, you try to throw it with fastball speed. In other words, you want your arm to have fastball speed, so it looks like a fastball. You just grip down on the ball. He throws kind of a Vulcan what they call a Vulcan fastball. It actually kind of rides between your middle finger and your ring finger.
2 balls and 2 strikes, and Stewart can't find it, and very alertly Gonzalez goes to third. Wild pitch is charged. That is heads-up base run.
That is really reading the ball at second base. Gonzalez using all his tools, as we mentioned. He's got 5 of them here, but this one's in the dirt. Catchable. Definitely a pass ball. Wild pitch. Well, he got it wrong. That's a pass ball, because that did not hit the dirt, as we saw in the replay.
So now men at first and third with 1 out and a run in. Wouldn't bite. And a full count, and now a decision has to be made by Todd Steverson, the manager of Sacramento. Do you send Wes Bankston from first base?
Well, you know you have a catcher that can throw a little bit. You know Brooks Conrad strikes out a little bit. So I would say no based on that.
He has a very short lead and is not going. And that's a base hit to right field. He ripped it. Gonzalez scores. Bankston heading to third, and Duncan's throw will not be in time.
Now he wishes he would have sent him.
Well, he still got to third, and it's 2-0. So
that one just didn't get down and away enough, and he jerked it to right field. That pitch was away and going down, but it didn't get down and away enough. You know, it's a 3-2 pitch, and as a hitter, you're hanging in there and looking for something fat, really. Maybe the place to pitch him is in, but he didn't get it there and didn't get it where he wanted it.
Okay, here's Casey Rogowski, who hit 277 during the season. Ball 1. Give us your breakdown of Ian Kennedy so far.
Well, so far Kennedy has had some command problems, and you know, and I also think we're looking at a RiverCats team that can swing the bats a little bit, and they haven't been one bit intimidated by this guy. That's that changeup, and a good one.
That was a good one. Ian Kennedy, #1 draft pick by the Yankees in 2006 out of USC. Other pitchers to be drafted #1 out of USC: Tom Seaver, Randy Johnson, Mark Pryor.
What did those guys do?
And Barry Zito. That's a good pitch. Hit him off the hands. Yes.
Did they play?
For a while.
I think I know a little bit about Seaver. Fortunately, I didn't have to learn anything about Randy Johnson because that stuff when he first came up was so ungodly.
5 Cy Young Awards.
You know, there's some pitchers that make you wish you were young again, and there's some pitchers that make you real glad you're retired. Well, he's in the latter category.
You were a teammate of Tom Seaver's for several years. This will be a 1-2 pitch, and he misses.
I'll tell you one thing about Seaver that you can take with you. In his first 10 years in the big leagues, he never had an ERA over 3 and pretty much never missed a start. That's like Hall of Fame right out of the box. All you had to do is just write in the numbers, fill in the blanks.
Absolutely. And that's the changeup, and he fouls it back out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Howard Kellman with Ron Swoboda at the AT&T Bricktown Showdown. We're in the bottom half of the first, and Sacramento already has scored 2 runs off Ian Kennedy.
You know, this guy Rogowski is a monster. You look at him up there. Looks like a linebacker. He was a heavyweight wrestler, though, in high school.
Base sack to Pena, and that's all they'll get. So give Rogowski an RBI on the fielder's choice. And Bankston scores. Conrad is erased. And it is now 3-0 Sacramento. Sacramento, the defending Bricktown Showdown champions, defeated Richmond last year.
Well, in the years of 2000 onward, man, they have just been consistently good, and I think that just totally reflects an organization that just pumps talent.
Donnie Murphy takes the ball.
Good play right there. Good shift by Stewart behind the plate. But, you know, they not only draft good people, but they're always you know, when you get to the big leagues, I made that little crack. Now you get the big leagues, then they trade you. But they trade you, you know, 6 for 2, 3 for 1, 4 for 1. You know, they make deals where they end up with, you know, replenishing their minor leagues with talent.
Murphy grounds it foul. He hit .270 during the regular season, 11 homers and 27 RBI. He's an excellent fielding third baseman.
We saw him. Their lineup is not terribly different than what we saw in New Orleans when they came through earlier in the year, because of the, you know, they have unbalanced schedule.
Runner going, and that's a stolen base for Rogowski, who, with 16 stolen bases, led the team during the regular season. He's a big guy.
That was on my lips because it's a number that stands out. He looks like a truck going down there, but I'll tell you what, he gets into 5th gear in a hurry. He can motor.
He's from the state of Michigan. He was a heavyweight wrestling champion in high school. Played football as well. Trying to get to the big leagues for the first time. Veteran.
He has a brother in the Dodgers organization as Kennedy finds that outside edge.
There's Ian Kennedy's numbers, Ron.
That's not a good breakdown, is it? That's a lot of pitches as we, you know, bat here in the top of the second. In the bottom of the first, I should say.
Fouled off out of play. It holds at 2-2.
How many innings do you think he goes if he has too many more like this?
I'll tell you, Ron, there are some organizations, when you hit the upper 30s in a particular inning with your pitch count, that will remove you.
Well, you're looking at a kid who's going to have to be a command guy and be able to use all his pitches and throw them off for strikes.
And he struck him out at an inside pitch. We have played 1 inning. Sacramento 3, Scranton Wilkes-Barre nothing. Welcome back to the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. Sacramento leading 3-0 top of the second. The hunt for October in Major League Baseball continues on ESPN with 2 games. First, it's Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. The Milwaukee Brewers face the Chicago Cubs. Then catch Friday Night Baseball presented by the Holiday Inn on ESPN at 7 Eastern. The Minnesota Twins and the Tampa Bay Rays. For more info, log on to ESPN.com. Those East standings, Ron Swoboda.
How about the Tampa Bay Rays? Is that one of the
best stories in baseball. I know they're getting a little bit of a challenge right now by the Red Sox, and they might be looking more at that wild card than they're looking at winning the American League East. But to be where they are is, of course, I was interviewed by Sports Illustrated, and they were making the connection with the 1969 Mets coming from nowhere to the World Series. So, Tampa Bay is a good story, but they haven't published the book yet. There's a little bit of baseball left.
Eric Duncan leading off, fouls it back, hitting .233 during the season, 11 homers and 60 RBI. He has really improved himself as a third baseman.
Yeah, 3 years ago he was the top prospect in this organization as an outfielder, and or as a third baseman, I should say.
He breaks his bat there. Danny Putnam has it, one away.
But he has, his numbers have kind of flattened out over the last couple of seasons, and I think that's why he's no longer listed among their top 30 prospects. You can see it right there. He gets in his kitchen a little bit. That's good stuff there. Good react by the left fielder Putnam.
One out. Now the catcher Chris Stewart, who hit .279 during the season, 2 homers and 24 RBI. Top half of the second inning, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre pitching coach Rafael Chavez was the Seattle Mariners pitching coach the last 2 years, and Dave Miley, who managed the Reds, and Chavez, just like the players, they've had a great season. They're anxious to get back to the big leagues too. Butch Weiniger, the hitting coach, is not with the team.
Yeah, he
well, we wish Butch the best. His wife undergoing surgery, and got to know Butch during the season, and
he's a terrific guy. And the third coach along with the manager on this team, which I mentioned, was unusual.
That's hit well to left center field, and it's in the gap, flagged down nicely by Putnam, but Chris Stewart has a double.
Nice smooth pass at the ball. Looked like he got something looked like off speed out over the plate. I think he waited on one of those changeups and deposited out in left center field. Putnam almost gets there, but he does a good job by not diving for it. Stay on your feet. You're not going to catch it. Stay on your feet. Don't try to make the web gem of the night.
Like you.
Well, if you have to dive to get it and you think you got a chance to touch it, that would be my
like you in the World
caveat
Series
on that one. Yeah, but too many times you see guys dive at balls that they know they can't catch.
Ramiro Pena takes a strike. This young man is a switch hitter, just up from Double-A Trenton. Now the Yankees Double-A team, the Trenton Thunder, also won the championship of the Eastern League.
So he's on a pretty good ride this year, isn't he?
And it's caught by Rogowski on a hard hit ball.
It was drilled. Pena, pretty good young hitter. Switch hitter at that. Watch this one. I think that's another changeup right there, and they're sitting on it a little bit, it looks like to me. That one was out over the plate.
There's the
hit
skipper.
hard.
There's Dave Miley. In his third year managing the Yankees AAA team, second at Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
For a young guy, he's got a ton of baseball experience behind him.
There's a ball. Never did get to the big leagues as a player. Got as far as AAA. Was the Reds bench coach in 1993. His first taste of the big leagues. And then was their manager for 3 years.
Yeah, the toughest thing about managing a club without enough talent is you're going to get fired.
And the left fielder Putnam hauls it in, and the side is retired. We've played 1 1/2. 3-0 RiverCats. Sacramento leading 3-0 as we move to the bottom half of the second inning, and let's hear from a man who threw 7 no-hitters and struck out more than anybody else, more batters than anybody else in baseball history, Nolan Ryan.
I think that the venues now, you have new ballparks, you have the technology to entertain fans. it's entertainment and also baseball, and I think it's a good combination that the fans enjoy. It's affordable family entertainment, and it's something they can do in their community, and they don't have to travel. And so there's a lot of reasons that minor league baseball is successful now.
Ryan, a teammate of yours when he was a young pitcher with the Mets.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he's got it right. Minor league baseball set another attendance record, about their 4th in a row. Like 4.3 million people.
Gregorio Petit takes a strike.
43 million people. A little more than 43 million people watched minor league baseball, and that doesn't include independent league baseball, which is also minor leagues but not affiliated with any major league teams. So it's actually a bigger number than that. Pacific Coast League drew 7.2 million, and the International League, as he swings and misses at a little slide piece there, the International League set a new record with over 7 million total attendance in the International League.
Well, there's a lot to be proud of. The respective presidents, Randy Mobley of the International League, Branch Rickey of the PCL.
Got to spend a little time with both of those guys, and with a lot of the AAA general managers and owners are in town, and that is a really interesting and diverse lot. They all learn from one another.
Well, they're having league meetings and AAA meetings, and that's fouled out of play. 2-2 on Petit, who is a prospect, a homer and 35 RBI. We're in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. We were talking about Butch Weiniger a moment ago. He was an all-star during his playing days and caught Dave Righetti's no-hitter and Phil Niekro's 300th victory. That's a base hit to left field for Petit.
He gets it going, and with a 3-0 lead.
Well, that's the 4th hit for Scranton, for Sacramento, and now it's Ian Kennedy. He really has to slam the door here. Could be an early exit.
Yeah, as his pitch count goes up, and Petit, who jerks this one through the hole. They don't look like they're looking for too much against Ian Kennedy, if you know what I mean. Knadler, the catch.
And Justin hit 175 during the season, 10 homers, 34 RBIs. That is Todd Steverson, the skipper and third base coach of the RiverCats. Got some time in the big leagues briefly with the Tigers in '95 and the Padres in '96, an Arizona State man.
Really quality guy, too.
He's a very good hitting coach in the minor leagues with the Cardinals before coming over here.
Kind of started that. We saw him. I guess he was last with Memphis.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Nice to be in an organization that provides you with talent, though, isn't it? You look a lot smarter as a manager.
Talent prevails. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
If you think about it, though, Knadler, 10 home runs, 34 RBIs. They got some production out of their catchers.
That is right down the middle, and he got him looking on a fastball for strike 3.
Just what you didn't want to happen. I guess maybe he had him set up looking for something off speed, and I think it aired him out. Now, when you have 2 strikes on you, you really cannot be looking for something off speed and not be able to handle the fastball. You always, in your mind, you always feel like you ought to be at least ready to get a decent hack at the fastball, but he got fooled.
1 away, and now Chris Denorfia, who doubled and scored his first time up. Ball 1. Well, Scranton Wilkes-Barre in the 2nd year of its working agreement with the New York Yankees. Prior to that, Scranton Wilkes-Barre and the Philadelphia Phillies worked together from 1989 through 2006. And the franchise wins its first ever IL championship this year.
Yeah, they call it the Governor's Cup there, and yeah, first one in the 20 years that there's been baseball in Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
The ballpark, PNC Field, Scranton Wilkes-Barre, located at the foot of Montage Mountain. So he's behind in the count, 3-0.
You just feel like Kennedy's working hard out there, struggling with his command.
And that's a strike. And our congratulations to Jeremy Ruby, Executive Vice President, COO of that Scranton Wilkes-Barre franchise, and everybody out there. They're thrilled to be working with the New York Yankees. And the count's full.
Good breaking ball there. You know, behind in the count. Of course, you have a hitter up there. You want, that looked like it might be that changeup. It's kind of a downer. That's, as we said, he likes it a lot, and he uses it in this kind of a situation.
With a runner going, that is BaySox on Miranda, and they have a 4-3 double play. He was moving over there, and it worked out beautifully.
Tough luck. You hit it right in the direction he was moving to cover second.
We'll watch it again as we go to break. Moving right there. 3-0. Sacramento after 2. Sacramento leading 3-0 as we move to the top half of the third inning.
Ron Swoboda here, Todd. We have Todd Steverson, the manager of the RiverCats. And Todd, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. You told me yesterday 3 innings tops with Knox, and you were going to go probably to Gissel. You've made the move with Gissel after 2 innings. Can you tell us why?
Well, it was a while since Knoxie had pitched. It's really, I think, about 10 days. He started the first game in Salt Lake, and he did a good job for us. We're going to try to get some other guys in, get him in the game.
Todd, what's the key for you guys winning this championship?
Same thing we've done all year. Timely hitting, good defense, good pitching, and consistency.
Todd, we thank you very much, and again, congratulations on an outstanding season.
Thank you very much.
Chris BaySox fouls it back, facing Chris Gazelle.
Gazelle is a guy that's, another guy that's more of a command guy. He's got to keep it down, keep his stuff down in the zone. 87 to 91 tops with his fastball. He'll cut it, meaning he throws it like a little slider. He has a curveball and a changeup to go with that.
One ball, 2 strikes. And that's a ball.
That's a hard breaking ball that he bounced up there.
Sacramento's hitting coach, Brian McGarn. Pitching coach, Rick Rodriguez.
And we really appreciate the coaches, especially like for me coming out of the PCL. I know Rick Rodriguez. He's always been generous with his time. And, as broadcasters, you want a little insight from them when you haven't seen them. We don't see them a lot. They only come to us once a year, or we go to them once a year. This year we got to see him earlier on. That's Rick Rodriguez right there with his manager Todd Steverson on the left. Screen left. But also the Yankees coaches were really generous, and they're a team that we don't get to see very much.
BaySox lines a base hit to left center field. Putnam cuts it off and holds him to a single.
Got to root for those former Mets. He's a great kid. For about 3 years, I got to go to the Mets minor league camp as we'll watch Basic here. As he picks on looks like a sinker right there. He goes out and puts the fat part on it. And he doesn't run to first base like a single is just what he wanted to do. He runs to first base like if they don't come up with it cleanly, he's going to second.
Here is Juan Miranda. He doubled to right his first time up. Right down the middle for a strike.
The gun reads 83 miles an hour. Now, you're always going to see different guns giving you different readings. Some of it's based on the model of the radar gun, some on the distance from home plate.
That's fouled off, and he's a hit 0-2.
It sure looked like more than 83 or 85.
There's a good look at Chris Gazelle. 6'5", 210 pounds, a veteran, 30 years old.
He was on the DL a bunch this year, and really had a fight his way back out on the mound.
And you see Rogowski holding BaySox. The key for a right-hander in his move to first, does he have quick feet? Conrad, Petit on to Rogowski, and they turn the double play. USA, Europe, the 2008 Ryder Cup. The Europeans have owned the cup for 6 years. Now the fierce rivalry returns to American soil and hallowed Valhalla, where the underdog U.S. team led by Phil Mickelson looks to defeat golf's hottest player Patrick Harrington and favored Europe. The Ryder Cup, complete coverage of Day 1 on ESPN Friday, September 19th at 7 a.m. Eastern.
Tell you what the key to that double play was we just saw. That was not a great feed by the second baseman, Conrad, to Petit. Petit fielded a bad throw, got himself righted, and made the turn to first. And that was what made that 4-6-3 happen.
Shelley Duncan takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Last year in the big leagues, this guy had 7 home runs, 17 RBIs.
He's got good power.
His swing can be real short. I watched him the other day. They were having fun in batting practice. The Yankees were, their last round or two was a home run hitting contest. He had a couple on the top of those advertisements by that left field porch, the short porch in left field.
And he misses down and away. 3 balls and a strike. 2 men out and no one on.
Yeah, up there by the...
That's where he hit him.
Yes, he did. He was banging him off those sides.
This will be a 3-1 pitch. And he had a big rip.
Giselle, 6'5", 210. So he really throws, he stands tall and really throws down on you.
At that good downward plane.
Looks like he's all legs too. You know, that helps if you use him.
And that's fouled back. And you were in the major leagues after the 1968 season, the year of the pitcher. They lowered the plane of the mound from 15 to 10 inches.
Yeah, it didn't help my lifetime average a whole lot, but I hit 19 home runs with the high mound. I didn't ask for it. I think it was Bob Gibson with that 1.16 ERA.
And Denny McClain won 31 games in the American League that year. This will be a 3-2 pitch. And he struck him out. So we have played 2.5. As we look at that strikeout again, closing out the top of the third. Sacramento 3, Scranton nothing. Welcome back to the Bricktown Showdown. There's our score. Scranton trailing Sacramento 3-0. We have the Scranton Wilkes-Barre manager, Dave Miley. Dave, we congratulate you on a terrific season. You had over 200 transactions. How were you guys able to pull off and win this championship?
Well, first of all, thank you, Howard. Secondly, I got to give a lot of credit to Mark Newman, Pat Rustler, and everybody in the front office. Every time that we did have any kind of moves, you know, they filter players in and they fit right in, and that's a tribute to the players in the clubhouse to just keep things going.
Hey, Ron Swoboda here, Dave. Ian Kennedy, your young starter, struggled a bit with his command. Is he on a pitch count that you know that you have to be mindful of?
Well, we'll just keep an eye on him, Ronnie. We got obviously a lot of guys in the bullpen, but you're right. I mean, you know, when Ian gets ahead, he's throwing the ball well. He's got a couple of CNI hits, but the key for him is to pitch ahead in the count.
Gotcha. Thanks a lot, Dave.
All right, Ronnie.
Okay, Danny Putnam leading off and takes the ball inside. Putnam 0 for 1. And that's fouled off out of play. We mentioned our congratulations to the Scranton people. Let's get that pitch count now with Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, I would. This is just me guessing now, but I would think if he gets to the 100 mark, as Dave Miley was telling us it makes a difference here as he throws a fastball that Putnam does not catch up with.
He chases that. We'll look at this one again.
This is just giving him a little rider, a little four-seamer up in the zone that Putnam cannot find. It's 2 Ks in a row for Putnam.
So Ian Kennedy's settling down, and now Carlos Gonzalez, who walked his first time up. Bottom half of inning 3.
He got nothing to hit. In that situation, they had a runner at second and a base open with 1 out, and he didn't give him anything swinging right there. Just dropped a slider under his hands.
Our congratulations to the Sacramento RiverCats, headed by Art Savage, CEO and majority owner. And that's a ball inside. Alan Ledford, president and GM, and Bob Heeman, who is minority owner, executive VP, so instrumental in bringing that franchise from Vancouver to Sacramento prior to the 2000 season.
This one's up in the air and should be handled by the left fielder calling.
Christian's got it. They're 2 away, and Bob Heeman, the son of baseball executive Roland Heeman, one of the most respected and beloved figures in this game.
I'll tell you what, I've been to Sacramento, and they rule the International League. They draw great. It's a wonderful ballpark in a wonderful area. You stay at a hotel right off the river there, and then you walk through a little tunnel area and you go into Old Town, a bunch of old buildings that have been renovated with new businesses in them. They got a railroad museum there that's fantastic, and you're right on the Sacramento River. It's a beautiful environment. And
Wes Bankston takes the ball, and Sacramento has led the minor leagues in attendance each of the 9 years it has had this franchise.
Well, they do it right too, but I think it's just that's the capital of California. And it used to be the Salons, they were called years ago, the baseball team in Sacramento, and Salon is of course legislator, leader.
Wes Bankston had an RBI single his first time up. 11 RBI now in the postseason.
He's making, he's showing you that he can pitch up, that he can elevate that fastball and make people very conscious of it, and at the same time make it a pretty tough pitch to hit.
And he got him, and Ian Kennedy has bounced back beautifully the last 2 innings.
Set you right up for that changeup too, didn't he?
Well, look at this strikeout to retire the side. Down after 3-0 Sacramento.
ESPN's presentation of the Bricktown Showdown, brought to you by Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge, grab life. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. You have to be here. NTS Promotions. Novel T-shirts is now the one-stop for all your promotional needs. And K&K Insurance, the leading provider of insurance products to minor league baseball.
Welcome back to Oklahoma City. Sacramento leading 3-0. Let's go to Jim Byers.
All right, thanks a lot, Howard. Down here in the dugout, the normal number of players. There's a normal number of Yankees out in their bullpen as well, but one extra member of the Yankees bullpen down the stretch here, a blue heron decoy purchased by some of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre players. After a player they nicknamed the Blue Heron, Scott Patterson, left the team. He was claimed on waivers by the San Diego Padres and is finishing up the season in the big leagues, but he was a key member of their bullpen during the regular season. Among his many nicknames, they say, was the Blue Heron. So the Blue Heron makes the trips with the Yankees.
Okay, thank you for that insight, Jim.
Well, we have a lot of Blue Heron in Louisiana, where I spend most of my time, in New Orleans. They inhabit the bayous there. Thank goodness we took care of them and didn't let them go extinct.
Ben Broussard leads off the top of the 4th. He singled his first time up, and the count is 3-1 on him.
Broussard out of McNeese State a few years back. I wouldn't call it a heavy-duty baseball school, but they've sent a few guys to the big leagues.
Veteran player, 31 years old, from Austin, Texas. Was with Seattle in the big leagues last year, hit .275 with 7 homers.
Well, Broussard is very much a Louisiana name, though. Of course, he's close. Close to that eastern part of Texas.
You've lived in New Orleans for many years.
I've been there since 1981 and been through all the storms and things, Katrina and Gustav, and boy, were we glad when Ike missed us, as that's ball 4 to Broussard leading off the 4th.
Let's go to Jim Byers.
Thanks, Howard. Ben Broussard has had an interesting year. He's been through a number of organizations, but his season, in a way, is starting and finishing in this ballpark. He was a Texas Rangers opening night first baseman. The Rangers and the Chicago White Sox in late March played an exhibition game in this ballpark. Broussard was in the lineup, and here he is back in the lineup here tonight in the showdown.
Okay, Jim, and Matt Carson, who fly deep to center, takes a strike. A lot of transactions.
It's been traded 3 times. And actually, we mentioned he has a .267 lifetime batting average in the big leagues. So Ben Broussard has some real numbers under his belt.
Here in Oklahoma City, their Sooners are ranked number 2 in the country, and they're also getting NBA basketball, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they had the, while we were recovering from Katrina, they hosted the New Orleans Hornets. We appreciated that. Appreciated that they let them go back to New Orleans.
Okay.
Frankly, and of course, we're pretty excited about our little team. Our little basketball team did all right in the playoffs last year. That was pretty exciting.
Top of the 4th, 3-0 Sacramento. All those runs came in the very first inning. This will be a 1-2 pitch. And he got him. Tied him up with a fastball.
It almost looked like a hard cutter or something that hung inside. Because the target was a little bit away and the pitch came inside. And it was a good mistake, as we say in the business.
Looked as if it ran in on it.
That's right. 1
away, and now Eric Duncan.
It'll back up sometimes, you know. But the target was kind of out on the outer part of the plate.
Duncan flied to left his first time up. And that's strike 1 swinging. We're seeing some very good pitching now.
Guys are getting comfortable out there, and I think elevating some fastballs and getting people to swing and miss at them.
A former Cy Young Award winner, Pete Vukovich, put it to me this way. He said, look at pitching as an art.
Vukovich said that?
Yes, he said the strike zone is your canvas.
He didn't say look at me as a piece of art, though, did he?
He said the strike zone is the canvas, the arm is the paintbrush, and the ball is the paint. Go paint a picture.
And paint it out there on the black.
Right. And he could do that. He could hit his spots. Won the Cy Young with the Milwaukee Brewers in 1982.
He made a big difference on that team. He comes through every once in a while as a scout. Not so much anymore, but he used to. And Vukovich, yeah, I was in Milwaukee right before Vukovich, right as those guys started arriving. Ted Simmons.
Pete's a scout with the Pittsburgh Pirates these days.
Raleigh Fingers.
Did he go? Yes.
Good breaking ball right there. The call by the third base umpire, who is Damian Beal.
Here it is, Ron.
This is pretty obvious right here. You're just fooled. And, you know, good breaking ball under his hands. Out of the zone, really. Got him to chase it.
It's a really good pitch. Good bite down and in. 2 away, and now Chris Stewart, who doubled to left center. Chris Gazelle's done a very nice job.
He really has. He looks like a little tough for these guys to pick up, too. It doesn't look like they're picking him up well, and his ball's got all kind of movement.
Look at this. That's a young fan.
Check her out. I'm going to guess her with the hot pink outfit. Look at this. She is hot. There's no doubt.
AAA baseball is a family event, very affordable prices, and they start real young.
Can't be too young. She's a cutie. I just, my nephew and his wife just had their first baby. Worked hard living out in Tacoma, Washington.
Well, congratulations.
Worked hard for that little baby. John Hamilton Swoboda IV. How about that? My brother, his dad, who passed away, was the third.
1-2 pitch, and he got him. He hit that outside corner, so after the leadoff walk, Mr. Gazelle comes back and strikes out 3 in a row. We'll look at all 3 of these strikeouts as we go to the break. We have played 3.5, 3-0, Sacramento over Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Welcome back to the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. Sacramento leading 3-0. The hunt for October in Major League Baseball continues on ESPN with 2 games. First, it's Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. The Milwaukee Brewers face the Chicago Cubs. Then catch Friday Night Baseball presented by Holiday Inn on ESPN at 7 Eastern. The Minnesota Twins take on the Tampa Bay Rays. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Run those wild card standings.
I was looking at the Dogs myself, but hey, yeah, Milwaukee, you know, interesting. They're tied for the wild card, and Ned Yost loses his job yesterday with 2 weeks left in the season. I know they had a bad weekend, tough time, lost a doubleheader, lost a series, and have really opened the door for the Cubs to run away with it, it looks like, in the National League Central.
Brooks Conrad grounds it foul, and the Cubs are ahead of Milwaukee tonight as well.
Well, we'll see if it works. Dale Swaim is the guy that took over at Milwaukee. That's a pretty rough move right there.
It's unprecedented to have a move like that late in the season. But the Brewers, remember, didn't do well down the stretch a year ago, and they saw the same thing happening, and they felt they had to do something. And if you heard the comments from Ned Yost, he acknowledged, look, he said, we were lifeless these last few days, so something was done. The Brewers have not made it to the postseason since 1982. Right center field. Duncan and Carson. And the right fielder, Shelley Duncan, has it, and there's one away.
Rick's got under it a little bit, and this is a respectable yard out to right center field. Those distances, 377, and he's a little bit extended with his swing. Okay, that ball away from him, good, but it shows you how strong Conrad is, and if he doesn't loft it so much, put so much air under it, he might be standing at second base. Pretty good hack, though, on a tough pitch away.
Here's Casey Rogowski. He knocked in a run with the fielder's choice and then stole second his first time up. All the scoring in this game in the very first inning. 3-0 Sacramento.
Yeah, Kennedy has really settled his game down. 3 up and 3 down back in the third. His strikeout total now up to 5.
The International League celebrating, Ron, its 125th anniversary. And there's a swing and a miss, and the IL revived its Hall of Fame this year, and the PCL has been around for over 100 years. So 2 leagues with great traditions.
Yeah, of course, they both changed a lot back in, what was it now, 2001. After that, there was an experiment with a AAA World Series that started in '98, where winners of each league went to Las Vegas and played a best out of 7, best out of 5, I should say. Correcting.
This will be a 1-2 pitch.
We won the first one. The New Orleans Zephyrs won the first one over Buffalo back in '98.
Well, prior to the '98 season, there was AAA realignment. The American Association disbanded, and the International League and the PCL added teams. And he got him.
Good changeup right there. Had him chasing it.
And there are 2 away now. The International League, as we look at it again.
Yeah, it really was before that. Correct. That's right. They dissolved the American Association. Branch Rickey was the president of the American Association, became the president of the expanded PCL, and he's done a great job. That's an unwieldy league geographically and tough to handle, but he's all over it. He and George King, his assistant, are here. His vice president in charge of business.
As are Randy Mobley, president of the IL, his assistant Chris Sprague. Randy concluding his 18th year as Donnie Murphy swings and misses. Now the IL has 14 teams, the PCL 16 teams. The IL format is similar to that of the major leagues. 3 divisions and a wild card, where the PCL has 4 divisions and the divisional winner from each of the 4 gets in.
Had breakfast with Branch Rickey and George King today, and George King is a great. You can have a wonderful conversation with him if you can get his nose out of the Wall Street Journal.
Ian Kennedy has struck out 6, and Ian Kennedy is really on a roll.
That's
a 2-ball, 2-strike count after a rough first inning. He's settled down. Right center field. That's going to be in the gap. Shelley Duncan flags it down, and Donnie Murphy drives one the other way.
Yeah, he made him look bad on one, and Murphy caught up with the next one. Good patient piece of hitting here. Boom. Left it up and out over the dish, and he goes the other way hard. I always felt like as a hitter, if I was hitting the ball with authority like that the other way, that I was staying on the ball, not pulling off it.
Keeping that front shoulder in.
Giving your hands a chance to work. You fly open, your hands can't catch up with your body. It's the same thing with the pitcher. When he flies open a little too soon and his arm is, having a hard time catching up with his body.
Gregorio Petit singled his first time up. You have to stay back as a hitter and a pitcher.
Nowadays, the thing that's changed the most, I think, is the strength of hitters, the strength of guys in professional baseball now because of the gym work. And I believe, nobody overstrides anymore. They're all sort of locked up on their backside, and they just kind of lift that front foot a little bit.
Eric Duncan on to Juan Miranda, and the side is retired. Look at the dog pound. 5 different hot dogs from 5 different major league parks. 3-0 Sacramento. There's the score. Scranton Wilkes-Barre trailing Sacramento 3-0. The USA, Europe, the 2008 Ryder Cup. The Europeans have owned the cup for 6 years. Now the fierce rivalry returns to American soil and hallowed Valhalla, where the underdog U.S. team led by Phil Mickelson looks to defeat golf's hottest player Patrick Harrington and favored Europe. The Ryder Cup, complete coverage of day 1 on ESPN, Friday, September 19th, beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern. For more info, log on to ESPN.com.
I think back when the Ryder Cup was an amateur event, I think Tom Seaver's father was a Ryder Cup golfer. Seaver can't play at all.
Maybe you're thinking the Walker Cup?
Walker Cup. He might be a Walker Cup golfer. That's right.
So we move to the top half of the 5th inning, and we have seen excellent pitching from both sides after that 3-run Sacramento first. Ramiro Pena leads off. He lined to first his first time up.
I wonder if that was Herbie Walker, who used to be an owner of the Mets years ago. The Walker Cup. Might have been.
And that's ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Top half of inning number 5.
He lined out to first base way back in the 2nd inning.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It's got to be great for him, You spend all year long in AA and get a phone call and they say, hey, how'd you like to be in the Bricktown Showdown, the AAA, put them up all in baseball game.
This will be a 2-1 pitch, and that's a ball. Your last year in the major leagues, 1973, was the first year of the designated hitter. You were playing in the American League then. What were your thoughts at that time?
My thoughts were, if the Red Sox had opened that season with a left-handed pitcher, I would have been the first.
And that's Rogowski with a very nice play. On to Gazelle, covering one away.
That is a good play right there. I would have been the first DH in Major League Baseball. It is Ron Bloomberg was our first baseman, and he is the first one. Watch this pitch here now. He gets a pretty good hack at this one. And that's a great play by Rogoski, who it just looks like he likes to get dirty, doesn't he?
Moves very well.
3-1, and that's a sweet play. But, you know, he's so quick. You know, we told you he led his club in stolen bases with 16, and you can see why. For a big guy, he can move around.
Justin Christian lined to second and flied to left. He's the batter. 1 out and no one on here in the top half of the 5th inning. Sacramento ahead 3-0. And there's a strike, 1-1.
We missed Chris Gasell this year. He was on the DL when they came through New Orleans. The way he's throwing right now, we are just as glad.
That's fouled back, and it's a 1-2 count. And we heard from your teammate, Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, earlier. This will be a 1-2 pitch. Popped up the breaking ball. And Conrad has it, and they're 2 away. The first year of the DH, 1973, Nolan Ryan set a record. He struck out 383 batters, a single-season strikeout record, still there.
That's right. Now, he was in the National League by then, was he not? No.
He was with the California Angels that year. So you might say...
So he didn't get me.
Well, you might say that, A, since there was a DH that year, as Chris BaySox takes the ball, he was able to stay in games longer, and he didn't have to be pinch hit for. But the other side of the story was, since there was a DH, he didn't get to strike out weak-hitting pitchers anymore.
Well, there's two sides of the coin, but the difference was back then the American League umpires used that big cushion in front of them, and they umpired up over the top right behind the catcher. Their head was right over behind the catcher.
That's a terrific play by Donnie Murphy to retire the side to his right, taking a double away from Chris BaySox. Let's watch it again. We have played 4.5. Murphy to his backhand side. 3-0 Sacramento. Welcome back to the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark, the Express Employment Professionals Bricktown Showdown. Sacramento leading 3-0. Ron?
Well, check it out right here. This is Ian Kennedy settling down and showing you a good fastball right there taken, and then there's a running fastball away, and then that's that changeup he'll throw to lefties and righties. There's 2 of them back to back, and 6 Ks for him, and really the last 3 innings of work really settling down as leadoff, as we pointed out, and he gives up a leadoff single to Justin Knadler.
Knadler going the other ways, and a base hit, and there are Ian Kennedy's numbers.
You can see now up to about 79 pitches. No action in their pen as yet.
And again, all 3 of those runs in the very first inning, he's settled down nicely. Here is Chris Denorfia, who has doubled to left and scored and hit into a double play.
We'll see some guys start to loosen up there as he's going to be close to 100 pitches after this inning. We'll see what happens. I would imagine there's a call-up or something in the offing. Maybe they'd like to use him, but he might be going to the fall league too. That might be more like what's going to happen with Ian Kennedy.
Pitch misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There is a tendency today, and I don't think it's extremely healthy, to rush your talent, your young guys, to rush your prospects to the big leagues. And, you know, a lot of teams like to talk about it, almost brag about it, like, hey, we ask a lot of our prospects, but it's like, I think you have to be very selective about that, who you bring to the big leagues, because people you bring to the big leagues too quickly.
Pena, BaySox, Miranda, and he scooped it out cleanly, but Denorfia is safe.
That could have been a double play, but it was clunky from every direction right here. The throw, the feed is tough, and then I really thought it took a little while to get it to second base, and BaySox Basic's turn there was a little tough. I think the throw was a little hard to handle for Basic, and that took a little more time, but they do get the lead runner.
So here is Danny Putnam, who has struck out twice. We look at the bullpen action for Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, they're getting up number 16.
Steven Jackson.
Yep.
And that's a ball. One man on, one man out, last of the fifth. Danny Putnam 0 for 2.
I think they'd like to get Kennedy through this inning, and so would he. And that may be it.
One ball, one shot strike, and we talked about the championship. Scranton Wilkes-Barre has won. The AA team at Trenton has won 1-2 for the Yankees, and obviously a disappointing year at the major league level.
Yep. They had so many injuries, and they were so needy, and that's one of the reasons there were so many moves at AAA. 201 moves is an incredible number of roster moves on and off the roster that Scranton Wilkes-Barre had to experience this year.
You lose Jabba Chamberlain, you lose Chin-Ming Wong, and then Ian Kennedy, Phil Hughes had the injury, and that's 4 pitchers right there you counted on.
Boy, Hughes was incredible in this final series. He struck out 12 guys in I think like 5 innings or 6 innings the other night.
That's a foul back.
You know, when they sent Hughes to the minor leagues, and then he was hurt for a little bit, and then, you know, finally got to pitch a little. He didn't get a lot of innings in, but he had an okay run in the regular season at AAA this year. Phil Hughes did, but he was electric in the playoffs.
He and Bartolo Colon hooked up at a beauty. Shelley Duncan won the game with a 2-run homer in the 10th. This will be a 2-2 pitch, and he got it. Strike 3 call. Classic pitch, knee high and over the outside corner.
3 straight Ks. That's a good fastball with some run on it.
Number 17, Carlos Gonzalez.
Wow. Tough pitch to take with 2 strikes. 3 Ks now for Putnam. He's got a little hat trick going.
It's a 2 away, and now Carlos Gonzalez, who has walked and flied to left.
Scored one of those 3 runs. He helped too with an alert move on a ball that just got loose a little bit from the catcher, Stewart. They rolled it a wild pitch, but I thought it hit off his glove before it hit the dirt, in which case I would have called it a pass ball. But Gonzalez at second base alertly got over to third and scored on a little roller.
And he bounces a breaking ball foul for a strike. No balls and a strike.
I should check that. He scores on a base hit by Bankston.
There is Mr. Gonzalez. 283 regular season. He does have power. Runs well, has a good arm. This will be a 1-strike pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Ian Kennedy.
He's got to feel a whole lot better about what's going on with him.
Absolutely. The name of the game is staying ahead of the hitters, being aggressive.
And you know, when you have to, having something you can use to pitch from behind, because you're not going to be ahead of everybody. It's when you feel like you give in to a hitter, and he's not the kind of a pitcher who can do that. He's got to give him his best stuff all the time.
Hard hit off the glove of BaySox, and Denarfield will go to third base.
I'd call that a knock.
I would think that's a base hit. Certainly, it required more than ordinary effort.
I took his glove off his hand on the backhand side. No, this is out over the plate, not where you want it. And you can see it. Boom. Nice pickup, guys. It's better pickup by our camera than BaySox, who could have made the play, but it would have been a great one.
And the batter will be Wes Bankston. Base runner at first, Gonzalez.
No errors in this ball game through as we play here in the bottom of the fifth.
Bankston is 1 for 2, an RBI single, and that's a strike. So 2 men out and runners at first and third. That was a very close pitch.
Little cutter, just missed outside.
1 ball, 1 strike. There are a lot of unsung heroes in the minor leagues. People who've been doing it for many years with all organizations, and one of those in the Yankees organization is Billy Connors.
I played with Billy Connors. He was in the Mets organization for a while before he became a coach.
That's a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Billy works with the pitchers rehabbing at their complex in Tampa now, and years ago when the Yankees won a World Series, he filled in when Mel Stottlemyre was ill, and he was the big league pitching coach.
That's a good gig he's got now. You don't leave home.
That should end the inning. And Miranda's got it. 5 innings are in the books. Sacramento 3 and Scranton Wilkes-Barre nothing. And the late great Bobby Mercer, teammate of Ron Swoboda's with the Yankees.
Yeah, when I got traded over to the Yankees from the Montreal Expos, Bobby Mercer was in the middle of his 3 of his best years.
Let's go to Jim Byers.
All right, thanks a lot. We're here in the stands with Kay Mercer, widow of Bobby Mercer, who passed away in July. And Kay, thanks so much for joining us. First off, the trophy for the MVP of this game is now the Baseball America Bobby Mercer Most Valuable Player Award. How does it feel to have this award named after your husband?
A huge honor, totally a huge honor. When we were contacted and told it was going to be named after him, my children and I were just thrilled about it and said Bobby would have loved it so much to be here and present it himself. So.
Bobby Mercer, one of the greatest Oklahoma City produced baseball players ever, and you go way back with him. You didn't meet up with him during his professional baseball career.
No, he played Little League with my brother back when I was about 9 and he was 11. So we grew up in the south part of Oklahoma City and continued to make it our home after we were married.
Of course, he was so popular as a Yankee player and broadcaster. He seemed like the type of person that wouldn't be all hung up in that. Was he aware of how beloved it seemed like he was?
I think the last year and a half after he was diagnosed with his cancer was really when he got the opportunity to really visit all the ballparks that he did, and he got a tremendous amount of support and love from so many of the teams. He was good friends with the Boston Red Sox, one of their broadcasters, Joe Castiglione, and Joe would call him and check on him. A lot of guys from other teams would contact him and stay, keep him very pumped up. So he did get the chance, and he loved the fans, and they had a real love affair. They really did.
Well, Kay, thanks so much for joining us and being a part of this event.
Thank you very much.
Kay Mercer joining us downstairs. Howard?
Okay, thank you, Jim and Kay. We move to the 6th inning. And Juan Miranda has doubled and hit into a double play. You played with Bobby Mercer for 3 years in the early 70s, and I think those were the 3 best years of his career.
Well, you know what? I was very, very lucky to be around Bobby. When I got up, he was a great hitter and a center fielder for the Yankees, and we played in old Yankee Stadium, and he was ready to have 3 of his best seasons when I was lucky enough to be there and be a Yankee. And we weren't the greatest Yankee teams by any stretch. But he was there. Thurman Munson was emerging as the MVP catcher he'd become. That's strike 3 and a good one from Wing, the left-hander. We'll talk to you about Wing stuff here. But how appropriate that trophy, the MVP trophy, is named for Bobby Mercer. Nice to see Kay again.
Ryan Wing coming on to pitch, and he was a PCL All-Star. And Ron, there are his numbers.
Yeah, and he's got good stuff too, as you can see from those numbers. He's got a big, nasty curveball, big downer. His slider is an excellent pitch. His fastball, 88 to 91, and it seems to get on you a little bit. He hides the ball well, and it really jumps on hitters.
And that is a strike to Shelly Duncan, who has walked and fanned. So Wing strikes out Miranda
with a breaking ball.
There's the grip. We're in the top of the 6th. It is 3-0. Sacramento. And there's that breaking ball of which Ron spoke a moment ago.
It's all good stuff. He's a 4-pitch pitcher, and it's all effective. 26 years old. Did not pitch at all in 04. He was injured. First year at the AAA level. Drafted originally by the White Sox in the 2nd round in 2001.
1-1 on Shelly Duncan. That is soaring and foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This ballpark, I would say, got under that a little bit.
Yeah, he told me he was going to get one in the porch out there today. But you can see there he's got an interesting swing, and when he keeps it short and gets his hands inside of it, he's hard to get in on. He can take you very deep to left field.
This beautiful AT&T Bricktown Ballpark, located on Mickey Mantle Drive, and Mickey Mantle and Bobby Mercer signed by the same scout, Tom Greenwade, out of Oklahoma. This will be a 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
We used to call him Lemon, because if you look at his face, got that little round face like a lemon.
Yep.
And they would call him Greenwade once in a while. You know, back when we played, there were nicknames.
Right.
They're a little harder to come by now because guys, you know, get to the big leagues and become corporations, and corporations don't like nicknames, I don't think. They might have little takeoffs on one another's last name or something, but we had nicknames that sometimes they had a little dig in them. They called me Rocky because, well, because my head might have been a little harder than most guys. I was a little thicker and hard to get through. I hate to admit.
1 out and no one on in the top of the 6th. The 3rd annual Bricktown Showdown. Brian Wing, the 3rd pitcher for Sacramento. And he strikes out Shelly Duncan.
Check it out. This is a breaking ball that he chases out of the zone. And he's not happy with himself. Good curveball. That's 2 curveball strikeouts. 1 to a righty, 1 to a lefty. That might have been a slide piece, actually. You know, when you've heard what guys have, but you haven't seen them pitch. I haven't seen Wing. Wing did not come through New Orleans, so we didn't get to see him.
Ben Broussard takes the ball high. He is singled and walked.
But it does look like good stuff.
1 ball, 1 strike. Two men out and the base is empty.
They're not catching up with any of this, are they?
Well, I'll tell you what, he has dominated in this inning.
You know, when you don't pick up the ball well, and you can see him hiding it, when you don't pick it up well, when you don't see the fastball, you start thinking you got to hurry it up a little bit. You got to hurry up your swing a little bit, and then you're swinging at breaking balls out of the zone, as Duncan did to strike out.
That is just inside. That was a good pitch, although it just did miss. 3 balls and a strike. That's over the inside corner.
Broussard didn't want any part of that one, as it gets on him in a hurry. We mentioned he'll top out with his fastball around 91.
Baseball's a game of adjustments. And he pops that one up. Petit. And we have played 5.5. 3-0 Sacramento. Bobby Mercer.
It's the RiverCats 3 and the Yankees nothing here in the Bricktown Showdown, bottom of the 6th inning, as we're joined by Pat O'Connor, the president of minor league baseball. And Mr. O'Connor, thanks for joining us. Overall, how's your first year been at the helm?
Well, it's been a great season for minor league baseball. 43 million fans for the first time in our history, and in spite of the economy and the weather, you know, we had floods in the Midwest and devastated some of our cities. Hurricanes getting out of the season. It's been a great year for minor league baseball.
How about this event in terms of the overall minor league baseball context? Is this something that you're excited about from a national level?
We really are. This is a pride jewel of all of minor league baseball that AAA puts on here. It is our crown jewel. It's this and the AAA All-Star Game are two events that we really look forward to. From a branding concept, this is the best of what minor league baseball has to offer.
Well, certainly a pleasure to host you here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Pat O'Connor, president of minor league baseball. Let's go back upstairs.
Okay, thank you, Jim and Pat. And there is Steven Jackson, the new pitcher.
Yeah, Steven Jackson's got some pretty good stuff to bring to this little party. A fastball 90-93. You can see his record there. 90-93 with his fastball. His slider is excellent, and his changeup is a split finger that goes down.
Brooks Conrad takes the ball. He has an RBI single, and he's fly deep to right. And that's a swing and a miss. We just heard from Pat O'Connor, president of minor league baseball. And baseball commissioner Bud Selig said earlier today the AAA World Series has been an historic part of baseball for generations and has played a major role in baseball's renaissance. That's a ball inside, and Commissioner Selig said he remembered the AAA World Series when he was a young man in Milwaukee in the 1940s. Milwaukee had AAA team in the American Association, Milwaukee Brewers back then. And they were owned, in fact, by Bill Veeck during World War II. 2-1 pitch. Base hit right center field.
Just kept pumping that fastball, and Brooks Conrad caught up with it. This game's been a little quiet on the offensive side. Another heater out over the plate. Hits it off the end of the bat, but heading for the gap, but he didn't quite get enough of it. I'll take it.
Jackson. The base runner at first, Brooks Conrad.
Looks he's happy with that one. Jackson, 6'5", 215 pounds.
Casey Rogowski, and that's a base hit to left field.
He likes that ball more away from him and really banged it hard through the left side, found a hole.
So you've got back-to-back hits.
Watch it there. Bang. Third baseman Duncan was around a little bit, but diving, he can't come up with it.
So 2 on and nobody out.
Steven Jackson, 26 years old. He came in the Randy Johnson trade.
Donnie Murphy, the batter. Sacramento has the chance to break it open. And he drives it to left center field. And no one will get it. Carson tracks it down. And that's a double and an RBI. Conrad scores. And I think Todd Steverson did the right thing with nobody out, holding Rogowski at third.
You betcha. The relay, just as he got to the base, was picked by the shortstop. That's right out over the plate, and he bangs it hard to left center field. Good job of running it down by Matt Carson. One run's going to score, but, you know, with nobody out, you're not going to challenge the throw there. And there's a shortstop was Pena was taking the relay and would have been in good position to make a play at home, and you had nobody out. Let's keep this thing alive.
Here is Gregorio Petit, and it's now a 4-0 game.
It's a slider right there as they have jumped all over him. Second double of the game for Donnie Murphy. As he not only drives in a run, but sets him up with runners at second and third. Nobody out. Sacramento ready to draw some more blood.
With the infield in, Pena holds the runner and throws the man out, a big out, and there's one away. So they get a big out there. Fortunately for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the ball was hit right at the shortstop.
Well, that's a good pitch there. You tied him up inside, and he hit a soft enough ground ball right at the shortstop.
Brogowski at third. Murphy at second, and now Justin Knadler, who has struck out and single to right. Steven Jackson attended Clemson. Pretty good baseball down there.
Yeah, man. Not only that, he was born in Sumter, South Carolina. Now, you know what Sumter, South Carolina is about, right? With the infield in, check them there. You got to keep them in.
There they are.
It's 4-0. You've got to gamble. It opens the holes up a lot, leaves a lot more room for base hits, but you want to come in and try to cut that runoff.
He went around. They asked the first base ump, Adam Dowdy of the International League.
I think he did. They rarely miss this one because when you've got umpires down the first and third base line, now normally at AAA baseball you have 3 umpires. Rarely do you have 4. This game is big league in that respect.
And that's a ball down and away.
Fort Sumter was where the first shots of the Civil War were fired. You know who the Union general was who surrendered Fort Sumter? Do you know?
Who is that?
It was Abner Doubleday, who has, for all these years, you know, they tried to make him the inventor of baseball. That is completely false. A fabrication of A.G. Spalding and a group of people that tried to Americanize the game. It comes from Rounders.
And with the infield in, there's a play at the plate. Pena throwing home. Stewart runs him back to third. And the tag will be applied.
That's the best you can do.
I think there's a possibility, had he fired the ball to second, they might have had a double play.
Well, you know, when he was trying not to, trying not to turn it into something like that, but, you know, the best you can do is the runner has to come over. You're already dead now. So they catch you in a rundown, but he wants to go back but not get tagged out quickly. But he's got nowhere to go. There's 2 guys. And I think he was tied up with him enough that it gave the hitter a chance to get down to second base. And that's just what you're supposed to do as the hitter, not be grousing because you check swinged and didn't get the job done.
Very nice defense by the Yankees as Chris Denorfia takes a strike. He's doubled and scored, hit into a double play and grounded out. Sacramento ahead 4-0.
That was a 6-2 put out, fielder's choice, but he gets to second base.
Brogowski out at the plate. One ball, one strike. Here's Steven Jackson.
Still do some damage here. Ooh.
And a terrific play by Chris Stewart to prevent a wild pitch.
How did that end up in his glove? I mean, normally the catcher in this situation just tries to knock it down, but look, he caught the thing, and that's just a great shift in play. The thing about that breaking ball that got away from him, it tends to bounce back to the catcher on that side. If he throws that one on the other side, there's a left-handed hitter and he's trying to throw it over the outside corner, it breaks away from the catcher. As we see some Scranton Wilkes-Barre action. 41, Mark Melanson.
And that's a ball, and it's 3-1.
In Louisiana, that would be Mark Melanson, but he's not a New Orleans boy, but it's very close to another New Orleans name. He has a base open.
This will be a 3-1 pitch. At the first baseman Miranda, unassisted put out. So we have played 6 innings. It's 4-0 Sacramento. There's that 4th run scoring. Sacramento leading 4-0 as we move to the top half of the 7th inning. And let's recap that first inning scoring, Ron.
Yeah, this is how they got it. That base hit through the left side brings in. That's Brooks's base hit.
Wes Bankston singling in the first run, then Brooks Conrad with the second run. And Casey Rogowski knocks in the third run with the fielder's choice play. So we go to the top half of inning number 7. We have a new pitcher for Sacramento.
You're going to like this guy. Henry Rodriguez can flat bring it. This is electric stuff. 88 to 101. They kind of grin when they tell you that, but he can reach the century mark. He's got a slider to go with it, but he will light it up for you a little bit.
Top half of the 7th inning. Matt Carson, who's fly deep to center and struck out, leads it off against Rodriguez. Ball 1. Yankees haven't had a hit since the 3rd inning. In fact, they've only had one base runner since then, a leadoff walk to Ben Broussard. There are Rodriguez's numbers.
Well, the ERA is a little fat, and that's from the playoffs.
Well, you can see that velocity, Ron.
Oh, it'll get up there, and it takes him a little while to build it up. Now the other side of the coin is.
And a base hit to right field for Carson.
The other side of the coin is these guys at this level, using these little bats, they're going to catch up with you. Kind of left that one out over the plate, and he pushed it off himself.
So a leadoff single for Carson. Being held by Casey Rogowski. The umpire there, Adam Dowdy of the International League, and the batter now is Eric Duncan, who is flat out and struck out. No balls and a strike.
Usually it takes him a little while to crank it up to flank speed.
This will be a 1-strike pitch. Well, he is throwing hard. 1 ball, 1 strike. That was 100 miles an hour on the gun.
Well, like I said, he'll light your eyes up a little bit.
Two balls and a strike. Our producer tonight, Michael Vetter. Director, Jason Wall. A couple of Florida guys. Eric Duncan, a much improved third baseman. And he fouls this one back. Mr. Rodriguez is only 21 years old.
How about that?
Oh, some high heat. Wow.
Behold. Behold. You know, he doesn't need to be throwing 100 for you to miss that one up there.
Now the question is, was that a rising fastball or is that an illusion? That ball looks like it has a hop to it.
It sure doesn't come down as fast. I've always heard that whole business about a rising fastball is optical illusion. It just doesn't come down as fast.
Well, that ball had some giddy up to it.
It jumps all over the place. You know, obviously command can be a problem with him. He'll walk a few guys for you, but And
Chris Stewart.
He's a young enough guy. His emotions sometimes can get a little wobbly.
One man on, one man out. Chris Stewart at the plate. He has doubled and struck out.
But he's a treat to watch if you like hardball.
And there's a strike. We're in the top of the 7th. Boy, he's late, and there's a good fastball, and Stewart is simply late on it, and that tells you how hard he's throwing.
You know, you really look, a guy like this, it's just like you hit against Koufax or anybody with a real good one. You just look for a ball down a little more. You got a better chance of catching up with it when it's down in the zone. When it's up above, it's near your waist or above, you can swing at it if you want to. That's a slider.
Well, you really think zones as a hitter. Not only fastball, breaking ball, but you think zones.
I think when a guy has a quality heater like this one, you have to look down and let that thing until you get 2 strikes. That ball in the upper part, even if it's in the zone, just do yourself a favor and let it go until you get 2 strikes. You have no choice.
And he fouls it back. You're raising a valid point. Young hitters sometimes look for things they can't hit. Don't look for something you can't hit.
Or like Yogi used to say, if you can't hit it, don't swing at it. And we say, well, what about 2 strikes? And Yogi said, well, then you have to swing at it. And I said, well, I'm sure glad you cleared that up for me.
And he was a bad ball hitter. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
No, he was a good bad ball hitter and a better good ball hitter. Okay.
All right. Full count. And a great RBI man.
Oh, yeah. Yogi could hit. I hit behind Yogi. They activated him when I was my first couple of years with the Mets. And Yogi got a base hit on a fastball that was right up in his face. And he just whacked it up the middle. No problem.
You know, you're talking about your days with the Mets and the Yankees, and what are your thoughts as Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium both will be closing down in a few weeks?
Yeah, I have a lot more emotions about Shea Stadium, obviously, because every meaningful memory I have in baseball happened in Shea. I consider myself a Met. I was lucky to be a Yankee. I feel privileged to have spent that time there, but as he misses outside with some gas, runner was in motion, but it's ball 4. But you know what? I played in old Yankee Stadium. This is the renovated Yankee Stadium that's coming down, and I don't feel quite the same pangs, you know. And a lot of that's because, you know, I was more of a Met than a Yankee. Darn lucky to be a Yankee, but more a Met.
Here's Ramiro Pena, who's lined to first and grounded out. Well, Hank Steinbrenner very determined to bring the Yankees back after this disappointing season.
Well,
saw his comments.
Hank's going to fix it.
That's in the hole and off the glove of Conrad. And the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees are on the board on Pena's single.
Well, they bring the hardest throw they got. And he bangs one through the right side. There he goes. Gets it just by his glove. Conrad, who does not have the most range at second base. He's not a glove guy at second base. And that'll go as a single. A lot of second basemen might have made that play.
So time is called. Rick Rodriguez, the pitching coach, goes out to the mound. The Yankees are on the board. There is the Sacramento bullpen.
That's number 47, cranking it up.
Brad Kilby warming up in the bullpen.
25-year-old from San Jose State, first year at the AAA level.
$8,213 on hand at this 3rd annual Bricktown Showdown. And now Justin Christian. Boy, is he late on that fastball.
But here's the deal. You can't just throw gas and get away with it in this league. You can't get away with it in AAA. You can't get away with it in AA. You need those other pieces to the puzzle. That's why we'll see a slide ball come up there once in a while.
And that is strike two swinging, 0-2.
Now, if he busts it up and in on you like that, if he can hit that little slot every time, you're probably not going to hit it.
And he's late, but he may have a base hit if it stays fair. Just does fade foul. There's Mr. Rodriguez.
That pitch was down, too. That's where you have your best chance. Justin Christian. He went to a lot of places. Went to Auburn. He went to a junior college, but he also went to Southeast Missouri State. And I once spoke there. I did some writing in New Orleans, and a guy that was my the JV coach at Maryland, was a Faulkner scholar there, invited me there to read some of my pieces to some of his writing classes, and I was hugely complimented. Bob Hamlin is his name. He's one of the best Faulkner scholars in this country.
That's a broken bat. Petit in the hole, gets one, and look at that double play. Was that beautifully turned? Petit, Conrad Rogowski. They pull off the 6-4 3-inning ending double play. That's led them all season. 4-1 Sacramento. Okay, the Oklahoma City, we look at the moon as God Bless America is being performed. Let's go to Nolan Ryan.
Oh, I think I played with that guy back with the Mets. He's the guy that claimed that he was an all-star, right? And he saved the World Series in '69 with a phenomenal catch that's never been matched, and probably hit a couple of home runs or something like that. Yeah, I remember that guy vaguely.
Okay, there's your ex-teammate. He has great memories of you.
You know what? When you're getting ripped on by a Hall of Famer, what do you say? Noli's the best, man. Noli is the best. You know, he did not want to play. He did not want to live in New York. He and his wife were not comfortable there in that city environment, and I think he did want to get out of there. Ruth Ryan and his wife, and he was not comfortable there. And you know what? We were a lot poorer for it. We might have had the Mets have never had a no-hitter. We might have had one with him.
The hunt for October in Major League Baseball continues on ESPN with 2 games. First, it's Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern as the Milwaukee Brewers face the Chicago Cubs. And then catch Friday Night Baseball presented by Holiday Inn on ESPN at 7 Eastern. The Minnesota Twins take on the Tampa Bay Rays. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. There are the American League East standings. They're updated. Tampa Bay now a game ahead of the Red Sox.
Wow. I always root for them. Their pitching coach is Jim Hickey. Spent 6 years in New Orleans, and I think he's a huge part of the success of that franchise this year. The Rays have done an incredible job.
So we move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Sacramento ahead of Scranton, Wilkes-Barre 4-1. There's Dave Miley, the skipper. And Chase Wright is coming on to pitch, and there's the skipper of the Sacramento RiverCats, Todd Stevenson, also coaches third base. And there is the left-hander, Ron, Chase Wright.
Yeah, Chase Wright's going to show you some good stuff.
Okay, let's go down to Jim Byers.
Well, part of the fun of minor league baseball, all the different nooks and crannies. Out here in right field, there's this new Tiki Hut bar and this party deck overlooking right field. And behind me, the right field berm where kids can not only play, but you can also heckle the Yankee bullpen. Hey, Yankee bullpen, keep your head up down there. And also, right here, you can just enjoy a game, maybe have a beverage or two from the right field corner.
Okay, Jim. Bottom half of inning 7, and Danny Putnam leads off. And that's a ball.
Chase Wright kind of comes at you from the low 3/4 arm slot. 87 to 89 with his fastball. Got a sinker action there, a little slider to go with it.
1 ball, 1 strike. .25 years old. Good pitch in on it.
Started this season in Double-A.
Four to 1, Sacramento. Bottom of the 7th. And a 2 ball, 2 strike count. There's that breaking ball.
No, he didn't, did he?
And he fouls back another breaking ball. This will be a 2-2 pitch. Ooh, hit him in the back. So he's aboard.
Right in the number. About striking out 3 times and getting drilled in the back.
Number 17, Carlos Gonzalez.
That's a way to start a rally.
And here is Carlos Gonzalez. There is Chase Wright.
He was up with the Yankees last year. Went 2-0, but it was a rather large 7.20 ERA in 3 games. Born in Wichita Falls, Texas. He actually, by coming here to this game, he got to go home. And you know, that's the other part of this. Sacramento wrapped this thing up here in Oklahoma, so they didn't have to do all that travel that the Governor's Cup Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees had to do. They had to travel to get here.
They arrived here on Saturday.
So they had a chance to chill out a little bit.
Center field. And Carson's got it. And they almost got a double play.
That was ripped in the center field.
You know, he played that ball very well because balls hit like that at you can sometimes fool outfielders.
Well, this is the toughest play to make, this line drive that's straight at you, because sometimes it's got a little fade on it, but he turned the right way. He had it tracked from the get-go, and Carson made the play, and the runner did what he's supposed to do. He got to second base, watched the play, and then beat it on back to first as this is the Yanks pitching coach.
Rafael Chavez, the Seattle Mariners pitching coach the last 2 years.
What's this about? They're going to take him out of the ballgame. Are they trying to get a bunch of guys in the game here?
And new pitcher, Sacramento ahead 4-1. As we play ball in the 7th inning, we'll break with this pitching change. Sacramento leading 4-1 here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 man out. As we look at the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark and the new pitcher for Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, Mark Melanson. He didn't pitch at all last year. He was injured. and couldn't go. The Yankees drafted him in the 9th round back in '06 out of Arizona. This is his first year at the AAA level. He got in 12 games with the Yankees here at Scranton Wilkes-Barre this year. He has pretty interesting stuff. If you look at the numbers here, fastball from 90 to 94, a good rated curveball and a well-rated changeup.
And Wes Bankston is the batter. He has an RBI single in 3 at-bats. Fouled off.
Ooh. And they brought him in just for Wes. I think to get the right-hander. They're starting to situation their pitching now as this thing's. We get down to the nubs here. In the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, that was on his knuckles.
And that's out of play.
It kind of looked like a breaking ball, but it stayed in on him. Is that a changeup?
It ran in on him.
That looked like that changeup because when I saw him gripping it, looked like he had it down in the palm of his hand. It ran in on him. You know what? You get jammed with a changeup, Coach. You're in trouble.
I've seen some broken bats this year on changeups with those maple bats.
Well, yeah, you know, and that might be why Major League Baseball has a big investigation, primarily about the maple. They're worried about, you know, it blowing up and sticking in somebody. You know what? In the old days, they used to dry that ash naturally out in the elements under sheds. It was an innovation to start flame treating them and kiln drying them. It did not make better wood.
This will be an 0-2 pitch. Ball 1.
There's that 94-mile-an-hour heat. I think that was his changeup running in on it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. No, you haven't seen the curveball yet, have you? Maybe now. Nope.
Pena off his glove.
Yeah, that one beat him up a little bit. He got kind of in between on that one.
Well, you may be thinking double play before you get one.
Well, he overcharged the ball, and he got that overspin second hop, and it ate him up. He was trying to be aggressive, but he got in a bad spot.
And the batter, Brooks Conrad, who has an RBI single and another single as well. So there are 2 men on and 1 man out here at the bottom of the 7th. Sacramento looking to add to a 4-1 lead. Right at Duncan. Well, that ball was hit so hard that Putnam didn't have that much opportunity to stray from second base.
Man, did that get on him in a hurry. That ball was tattooed.
That's why they call it the hot corner.
That's a tough base running play, but he hit it so hard, so fast. Adam, like you said, there was no chance. He's playing in against the left-hander, and he sent him some espresso down there.
There's Casey Rogowski, 1 for 3, a single. Also knocked it around with a fielder's choice. So there are 2 men out. Base sack. Miranda, and that's all. We have played 7 innings here at the AT&T Bricktown Ballpark. Sacramento leading 4-1.
Sacramento looking for back-to-back showdown titles, leads 4-1, and we're joined now by Bob Funk, the chairman and CEO of Express Employment Professionals, the presenting sponsor of this game. And Mr. Funk, thanks for joining us. Why the presenting sponsorship of this game?
Well, we're certainly proud of Oklahoma City, and we're certainly proud of minor league baseball, and certainly this is a marquee event of all of minor league baseball, and we're certainly glad to have it here in the heartland of America in Oklahoma, and we're proud to be the sponsor.
Let's share with our with our viewers away from this area. You're also the majority owner of the Oklahoma City now Redhawks.
Well, we're also the majority owner, and Express Professionals is in 49 states and 3 foreign countries. We're headquartered right here in Oklahoma City, and along with the Redhawks, and we're certainly proud to be owner of the Redhawks and have a great ball club and have a great affiliation.
Well, thanks so much for the visit and for the event here every year.
We're certainly glad to be here, and thank you for coming. We appreciate it very much.
Howard?
Thank you, gentlemen. Top of the 8th inning, and a new pitcher for Sacramento, Brad Kilby, facing Chris BaySox.
He was the man out of the bullpen for him. You talk about carrying the load. He had 51 appearances in the regular season, Brad Kilby. All out of the pen. You'll see a fastball 88 to 91, a slider, and pretty good changeup. Hides the ball well.
(3-1).
See how he sticks it behind him like that? You know, it seems to add to his.
And a full count on Chris BaySox, leading off the top half of the 8th inning. And he got it. Oklahoma Redhawks are now the Oklahoma City Redhawks. The new logo unveiled yesterday.
Well, that's good.
Jim Byers, he's a man who adjusts to the times. He had the new T-shirt on earlier today.
He won the best dress at the Bricktown Showdown Sartorial Splendor Contest.
Juan Miranda takes inside. He has doubled in 3 at-bats. And there's a ground ball foul. One ball, one strike.
Another guy in his first year at the AAA level out of San Jose State. He's got him popped up here.
Petit. And they're 2 away.
Can we give the MVP award to the entire Sacramento pitching staff?
Well, they've done a terrific job. They've limited Scranton Wilkes-Barre to 6 hits. They've used 5 pitchers. Scranton Wilkes-Barre's used 4 pitchers. What a change. You know, we celebrate the rich history of the minor leagues and the way the game has changed.
Yeah, and you know, and I think the reason being he started Brad Knox and only expected him to go 2 or 3. He ends up going 2, and that's all because he projects out of the pen. You've got a staff to use, and why not use him? Scranton Wilkes-Barre wanted to extend their starter Ian Kennedy and got what they wanted from him, except for that first inning.
And that is strike 2. So as we said, 9 pitchers used. Quite a change. Years ago at the AA level, Dallas-Fort Worth, pitcher named Tom Walker ran through a 15-inning no-hitter. He went the distance, 15-inning no-hitter. You don't see that anymore now. It's a day of pitch counts.
I remember the guy Harvey Haddix, who was our pitching coach with the Mets, who with the Pirates went some 13 or 14 innings of no-hitter and
12 perfect innings, 1959 in Milwaukee, and lost the game in the 13th inning.
The cat. The kitten. Harry Burkeen was the cat. He was the kitten.
That's a ball inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 men out and nobody on. And Harvey Haddix at times would allude to that 12 perfect innings, and Jim Bibby would say to him, Harvey, that was a loss. That was not a perfect game. That was a loss.
I played with Jim Bibby and against him.
And he struck him out swinging, 3 up and 3 down. We have played 7 1/2 of the 3rd annual Bricktown Showdown. 4-1, Sacramento.
ESPN's presentation of the the Bricktown Showdown. Brought to you by Sandridge Energy, discovering beneath, exploring beyond. Express Employment Professionals, respecting people, impacting business. JVC, the perfect experience. And Destroyer Graphics for all your promotional needs. After all, it's not just your logo, it's your brand.
It's a beautiful night in Oklahoma City. The hunt for October in Major League Baseball continues on ESPN with 2 games. First, it's Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. The Milwaukee Brewers face the Chicago Cubs. Then Friday Night Baseball presented by Holiday Inn on ESPN at 7 Eastern. Minnesota Twins, Tampa Bay Rays. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. The wild card race.
Yeah, you know what? I wonder if the Mets are looking out of the side of their eye, thinking, what are our chances there? The Mets won tonight, I'm told. They lost tonight? That's different than winning.
You got that right. Donnie Murphy.
You know, we're going up to Shea for the last weekend. They're bringing a bunch of us former Mets up there, and I guess most of us are praying that they're still in the hunt.
Donnie Murphy has a couple of hits tonight, and Yankee Stadium's final day will be Sunday. And as someone who grew up going there, was a Yankee fan, I have a lot of sentiment toward the ballpark closing. Opened in 1923.
Think about $2 billion in ballpark only opening next year in New York City. It staggers me. I'm too small potatoes to be able to get my brain around that as he swings and misses.
Murphy fans, let's go down to Jim Byers.
Well, if you're a sports fan, you might have heard of playoff beards in hockey. Well, the Sacramento RiverCats, a different twist on that this playoff drive. Playoff mustaches. It looks a little bit like a 70s throwback. Danny Putnam sporting an especially attractive one. But they started to go with the playoff mustaches and stuck with it. And look, it's got them 3 outs away from winning the last game of the year.
Mustaches are the key. Gregorio Petit is 1 for 3, a single.
Lawson gassed Murphy there, so he's starting to loosen it up a little bit.
Base out. And the flip on to Miranda, and they're at 2 away. He is 6'2", 215 pounds.
It's always deceptive from up here. He looks like he's a little bigger than that. But you know how it is. Men lie about their height.
And Melanson is a youngster, 23 years old. Justin Knadler, the batter, and he swings and misses. Bottom of the 8th. Sacramento has won 4 PCL championships in its 9 years. And that's fouled out of play.
That was seriously on his knuckles. Todd Steverson is feeling a little bit better maybe about his 4-1 lead.
Well, he got those 3 runs early.
And they've made him hold up basically.
With some very good pitching. Shelley Duncan. And we have played 8 innings. Sacramento try to capture its 2nd straight Bricktown Showdown, leading 4-1. There's our score, 4-1 Sacramento, as we go to the top half of the 9th inning. The RiverCats 3 outs away from winning their 2nd straight Bricktown Showdown. And they have gotten terrific pitching. That's the key, and they put together some hits in that 1st inning.
Yeah, you know, they're very sound and put the ball in play in that 1st inning against Ian Kennedy, who was, I think, scuffling a bit with his control.
Ben Broussard takes the ball. One ball, 1 strike. Broussard has singled, walked, and popped up. Two balls and a strike.
In a regular season in the PCL, Sacramento's pitching finished second in the ERA race in the Pacific Coast League. So we're starting to see some of that. We saw that in New Orleans.
Petit circling back. And there's one away. Brent Kilby, the 5th pitcher of the game, used by Sacramento.
Yeah, they're giving him a couple of innings here, and he's doing the job. He had him 3 up and 3 down back in the 8th, and well on his way here.
Todd Steverson heading to the mound. And he will make a pitching change.
This is interesting, but they're just trying to get people involved in the game, I believe.
The USA Europe, the 2008 Ryder Cup. The Europeans have owned the cup for 6 years. Now the fierce rivalry returns to American soil. And hallowed Valhalla, where the underdog U.S. team led by Phil Mickelson looks to defeat golf's hottest player, Patrick Harrington, and favored Europe. The Ryder Cup, complete coverage of Day 1 on ESPN Friday, September 19th, beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. So the pitching change made with 1 out and no one on in the 9th inning. And there is Brett Prinz coming on to pitch.
He is technically their closer. When you see how he lets it go, you'll really understand why. He's got a fastball in the mid-90s, topping out around 96 with a slider that makes you want to cry, Mama.
You know, you like to get a lot of your players in, and certainly Todd Steverson's using his 6th pitcher.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, he's the guy that did all the closing for them in the playoffs.
Now, one thing as far as the winning pitcher is concerned, should Sacramento hold on, it is the official scorer's call. Since the starter didn't go 5 innings, the official scorer gives it to the pitcher whom he feels is the most effective.
Yep. Yeah. I think you could make a case for Gazelle.
There's Gazelle, the tallest man in the picture.
Yeah, you could very easily hand it to him. 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 4 strikeouts. He was a bit more effective than Brad Knox.
And Matt Carson is the batter.
Prinz saved 5 of 7 save opportunities during the regular season.
Brett Prinz is from the south side of Chicago, grew up a big White Sox fan. We've talked about the New York teams tonight. How about the White Sox and Cubs, both in first place in their respective divisions?
How about a Windy City World Series? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Well, it could happen. And not too many people thought the White Sox would be there.
No, they kind of came alive, didn't they, huh?
That's up the middle and a base hit to center field.
Actually, Prinz's ERA this year was a little on the gaudy side, 6.75. You'll see this pitch out over the plate now. That's a base hit by Matt Carson with 1 out to keep this thing alive. You need a few more of those.
And a pinch runner. We'll get the pinch runner for Carson as Eric Duncan stands in.
Is that Battle?
1 ball, no strikes.
You can't see his number because they.
It is, you're correct, Tim Battle.
Yeah. Oof.
And in all likelihood, he'll go in the outfield in the bottom of the 9th, replacing the center fielder Carson.
Unless they score a couple of runs here. There's
the Bobby Mercer MVP trophy.
That's It's a tough call in this ball game, I'll tell you what. I don't have a good idea. Maybe we'll give it to the winning pitcher. Nobody drove in more than a run. Nobody's having a big offensive night. A couple of pretty good pitching performances by some people for the Sacramento RiverCats.
A 3-ball, 1-strike count on Duncan. What a play by Conrad, who's got a double play. He spears it.
Did I say he's not a candidate for a Golden Glove?
Conrad to Rogowski. And the Sacramento RiverCats have won their second straight Bricktown Showdown. Look at that play by Conrad.
Wow.
The double play ends the game. Sacramento wins it 4-1. What a way to end the game.
What a great layout and catch and double play, man. That's just, what a way to finish it. What a year they've had.
You win a championship and you win it like that. Great pitching, great defense, and some timely hitting in that first inning. And there is Chris Gazelle, the most valuable player, winning the Bobby Mercer MVP award. 3 scoreless innings, allowed just 1 base hit, walked 1 and struck out 4. So Chris Gazelle, the MVP of the Bricktown Showdown. The RiverCats celebrate. We'll be back to wrap it up. Sacramento wins it 4-1. Sacramento wins the Bricktown Showdown 4-1. Let's go down to Jim Byers.
Thank you, Howard. The Baseball America Bobby Mercer MVP Award goes to Chris Gazelle. Chris, fine 3 innings tonight. You've filled a lot of roles in your career. You've been around a little while. You've been to Japan. What was this championship like? And in tonight's game, having to come in and back of the starter and sort of pitch in long relief?
Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, this is one of the most enjoyable years I've ever had. This is the best team all around. Great personality, great guys, great defense, great offense all year. I mean, you got to give it to our position players. They've been, I mean, I can't say enough about it. They've been amazing all year, and this is icing on the cake. You know, look at perfect way to end the game right there with Brooksy making the dive and getting a double play out of it.
Well, congratulations on winning the award. And are you going to stay in the U.S. now? You spent the last couple of years in Japan.
I'd like to. You know, hopefully something will work out. You know, we're all at this level for one reason, and you know, things don't happen the way you want them to all the time, but you never know.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Todd Steverson, the manager of the Sacramento RiverCats, and congratulations. What a year for you guys. You win the PCL title. You put up with all the moves that inevitably you put up with. You put up with all the moves that AAA teams deal with. Talk about this club, because this is a great championship for you in your first year as a AAA manager.
Yeah, these guys were great all year long. And we had 190 transactions coming into the day. Never deterred anybody. They came out to play the game. They went about their business well. They're a great bunch of guys, and they deserve this.
This game tonight, you guys got that 3 spot in the first inning. Big innings have been key for you in these playoffs. Did that make you feel good? All right, well, I think on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thanks. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. You guys are great.
Okay, nice job, Jim. Sacramento wins it 4-1. We'll be right back. The Express Employment Professionals Bricktown Showdown won by Sacramento 4-1. Let's look at the highlights. Chris Gazelle, the winning pitcher and the MVP. And in the very first inning, Kristen Orphea. And there's a base hit. He scores the run, the RBI single by Wes Bankston. And there's Brooks Conrad's RBI single to right, making it 2-0 game. And Casey Rogowski, with the fielder's choice, knocks in the 3rd run of the inning. And that would be all that Sacramento would need.
That's Donnie Murphy.
Yes, Donnie Murphy's RBI double in the 6th makes it a 4-0 game. And Scranton Wilkes-Barre's only run comes on Ramiro Pena's RBI single to right. And the final score, 4-1. And there's Chris Gazelle with the MVP trophy. He wins the game as well. The Bobby Mercer MVP trophy.
Getting to shake Kay Mercer's hand right there, and that's a sweet little scene. And I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with the quality of this baseball tonight. One error in the ball game, and the rest of it was so well pitched, well played, and you know, I think Dave Miley was right about it. There were a couple of C&I base hits back in the 1st inning when Ian Kennedy, the starter for the Yankees, was struggling a little bit, and that made the difference in this one. And you know, it didn't take much. Just the same way Sacramento played all year long is the way they played in this game tonight. Nothing changed.
To call it a good, clean game, there were not a lot of mistakes in this contest. As you see, Sacramento is celebrating with Ron Swoboda, Jim Byers, and our entire ESPN team. I'm Howard Kellman. The final score tonight, Sacramento 4, Scranton Wilkes-Barre 1. Sacramento with some timely hitting, outstanding pitching. 6 pitchers combined to limit Scranton Wilkes-Barre to 1 run. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night from Oklahoma City.